What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video of the Point After Podcast. Today we are talking about Iowa State, Oklahoma State. A little preview video for you guys. I think this game is going to be really interesting. I got this circled on my calendar for Saturday, a game that kicks off at 2:30 p.m. Central Time, a game I'm looking forward to watching. Mostly because I feel like these are probably two evenly matched teams. I think a lot of people expect Oklahoma to kind of take off and run with the Big 12 now that Caleb Williams is the starting quarterback. I still don't think that. I still need a lot to see out of Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma State has the capability of beating them. I think Baylor has the capability of beating them. But I'm going to talk about that in just a second when I talk about that game in particular. Iowa State came into the season as a preseason favorite, conference favorite to win the Big 12 championship. I'm sorry, I think I said Big 12 or Big 10 a minute ago. Talking about the Big 12 here. Nonetheless, Iowa State, preseason favorite to win the Big 12, kind of got off to a rocky start in a game against Iowa where they turned the ball over 4 times. And turnovers are going to be my key to victory for either team in this game. I have it on the screen. Oklahoma State's currently a 7-point underdog on the road in Iowa City, I think. Ames, Iowa. Again, the biggest thing to me this game is going to come down to turnovers. You look at the two season-defining games for me at this point for both of these teams, Iowa State versus Iowa, Oklahoma State versus Baylor. There were one thing in common that both teams struggle with, and that's turnovers. Iowa State turned the ball over 4 times against Iowa. It lost 27-17 at home. If they want any chance of winning in this game, which they have a good shot, Brock Purdy's playing not bad. He played horrendous against Iowa. Sanders for Oklahoma State is not playing that bad either. Breece Hall, you know what you're getting out of him. 10 touchdowns this year in 6 games. Breece Hall's, I think he scored every game he's been there in the last 3 years. But it's going to come down 2 turnovers. Iowa State turned the ball over 4 times against Iowa. Oklahoma State's marquee win this year was against Baylor. Baylor's a really good team. Do not sleep on Baylor at all. 3 turnovers in that game, and you still win by 10 points. Oklahoma State's got 3 back-to-back ranked wins. I think it was Kansas State, which they won by 11. Iowa State just beat them by 13. They beat Texas in a crazy second-half comeback. I'm not putting that more on Oklahoma State's performance. I'm putting that on Texas's lack of second-half adjustments, which falls on to, again, Steve Sarkisian and his play calling. We saw that against Oklahoma. We saw it again this week against Oklahoma State. I think that's a Texas problem. I think Texas should have won that game. Oklahoma State lucked out. Iowa State, though, just beat Kansas State, lost to Baylor, lost to Iowa. They're struggling, but they're still a good team. They returned 20 or 21 out of 22 starters, if not all 22. I know it's at least 20. They were the preseason favorite to win the Big 12 for a reason. They're still a really good football team. I said in a video I put out last week, once they get it together, they're going to be a good football team. Iowa State is good. They can win this game. They should win this game at home, but it doesn't mean they will. If they turn the ball over, I think Iowa, when I looked at it, was a +1 in the turnover margin. Iowa State +1 in the turnover margin. Oklahoma State -1. It's going to come down to turnovers. It's that simple. I think Iowa State wins. If I had to make a pick for this game, Oklahoma State covers. Iowa State wins the football game. It's going to be close. It's a 2:30 game. It's going to be, I believe, high scoring. Over-under set to 47. I'm taking the over strictly because both of these defenses are not great. Oklahoma State's defense probably has the edge to some degree, just because I think Iowa State's defensive stats are a little bit skewed. Oklahoma State has played better quality opponents to this point. Iowa State's given up 56 yards less per game. But again, they've played Kansas, they've played UNLV, they've played teams that don't have good offenses. They limited Baylor, limited Kansas State, and I think Iowa State played a mediocre team at the beginning of the year. I'll check on that really quick. UNI, a really good FCS team. They barely won that one. Again, then to have so many starters coming back, I'm surprised they're sitting at 4-2. I would expect them to be at 6-0. Iowa, good defense, terrible offense. It is what it is. Oklahoma State, and I wouldn't expect them to be at 6-0, ranked number 8 in the country at this point in the season, but they are. They're here. The door is open for them to win the Big 12. Question is, will they do it? Iowa State, I said it earlier in the video, I said it last week, they're going to turn around at some point. They're going to hit stride. This is that game for Iowa State that is season defining. It literally determines whether you finish 9-3 or 6-6. That's the way it is for Iowa State. Oklahoma State, on the other hand, you still have big games coming up against Oklahoma. You still have TCU, Texas Tech, West Virginia, and Kansas. Oklahoma could finish 12-0. They could finish 11-1. And if I'm not mistaken, they could play Oklahoma and then the very next week play Oklahoma again. So that's something to keep an eye on. But again, Iowa State, if they want any chance at winning the Big 12, they have to win this football game. Iowa State, I believe they still have to play Baylor. No, sorry, they lost to Baylor 31-29. So that doesn't help their chances. They have to win this football game to make the Big 12 championship. This is a season-defining game. It's a turning point for both teams. 2:30 on Saturday. You don't want to miss it.